Hello? Hello? I think we're here. We're live. I've pressed the buttons. We're doing things. Hello, hello. Harand, hello. AC, hello. Daz, hello, hello. I hope everyone is having a pleasant Wednesday. Whatever time zone you find yourself in. Moose, hello. Julian, hello. So, key thing before we start, before we go any further, how's the audio? I've switched off the noise gate and added a noise suppression filter. Is this better, worse, or the same? Today was hot, warm. Today was hot. Better? Sounds cleaner? No static? If I stop talking, how's that? That's what I do. I'm in the browser. We hear nothing? Good. Okay, perfect. Then I think we've solved this issue through more filters. Although actually, I guess hang on, quick before we start. Quick. Can you hear the keyboard? How's that? Is that clickety? Is that clackety? Is that barely? Okay, that's a shame. My new keyboard is slightly quieter than my old one. Oh yes, do the Discord notification. Thank you. I've pressed it. Okay. They are... Yeah, okay, fine. Well, we could just do this all stream. 2 hours of me typing out the Linux source code. But okay, we're good to go. Quick temperature check. A little bit warm. The PC is slowly cooling itself off, but we'll get there. Keep an eye on that. So... Okay, so we were doing some coroutines. I want to try and finish off the mechanics of that today. So the kind of minimum extra I want to add is the ability to wait on a task. So at the moment, you can, where's our wait? You can wait on a number of ticks to have happened, or you can wait for a certain number of time to elapse. So this actually allows you to schedule yourself. So this is systems regaining their own control by telling the scheduler when they should be kind of rescheduled. That's the plan. We're using some coroutines. The things that we need to do today are have it so you can wait on another task to finish, so you can kind of chain them. Maybe wait on multiple tasks so we can fan out. I don't think we need that at the moment, so I might just, because that's a little bit more mechanics, so I might not bother with that for now. Then back in our scheduler, there's some things here we need to change. One, I don't like all this variant nonsense. We're going to get rid of that, hopefully. Two, we need to handle... we need to handle exceptions and write some tests for that, because at the moment, it's like, don't worry about it, just don't throw, which is not how we do things around here. And then I think the other thing I want to change is, I think... there's a very slight noise floor. Okay, well, we can always add the gate back on later, but I think this might be okay. I get like no settings to tweak. It's just like noise suppression on or off. It's pretty binary. So I want to get rid of this variant. And also I was thinking about this. I think my queue is wrong in the sense that I don't think it semantically does what I want it to do. Where's me scheduler when it's at home? I'm using a deck and I'm pushing new tasks to the front, which basically makes it a stack, right? I want to be pushing them to the end. I think I can replace the deck with a vector. It'll make erasing from it easier. And I think I want to execute things in the order that I push them, not the reverse order. So I think I've just made a mistake there. Irish Wanderlust. Great name. Subs with Prime, thank you very much. Yes, I don't mean to do that. So that one, we can fix that first because it's going to break one of the tests. So let's do that. Then we need to, we got some code we wrote last time which we didn't finish testing. So we'll do that. Then we'll wait on a task and then we'll tidy up. Yeah, pushback is what I need. But if I'm only pushing back, then I don't need a deck at all, right? Okay, I can just be like, this should just vector up in this, which means scheduler. So somewhere I've got like a push front. This is a nice thing of like, so that should push that to the back. Because we're using range-based for loops, we just keep iterating through it anyway. We keep unpacking it, that's fine. And then this, right? Doesn't this just become like stood erase if Q U E Q U and then hang on, I'll get there in a minute. I think that's the sort of syntactic sugar kind of nicety they added for doing the arrays remove idiom. So that should blend, and then I think one of the tests will fail because we're doing them out of order, but that's fine, we can fix that, and then we'll be on our merry way. It's not within the loop, is it? Because this is just, whilst it's not empty, arrays. The loop is here. Good one. I put an ice cube, like quite a large ice cube in this glass of water, and it's already gone. So that bodes well. Oh, it's hot. Right, okay. So check my scheduler tests. Yeah, so this is now wrong because these should do. I think this is why I struggled to kind of get my head around it a little bit last time because I couldn't get the order right. But I think this is the order we want. So I'm just gonna do a cheeky little copy the output and hope for the best. So this becomes this, and then do this, do that, and the other. Okay, so let's just check that works. Okay, well, we'll tweak the order as we go along. This, I'll have to go with the majority, and the majority say it's good. Oh, so this test runs for ages, that's fine. So what we need to do now is, what was this test doing? We want to make sure it waits for a certain amount of time. So I think we, just do co-await the task, log.pushback. Done, right? Run the test, and then first thing to do is going to assert. Hang on, do we not? I'm going to take this. I'm going to literally yank that. I can't see why this wouldn't work, but I've said that many a time. Okay. And then what I want to do is I hate doing timing tests for timing. The best way I can only do is make sure it kind of runs for at least the minimum that we said it was going to. If anyone's got any better ideas, I am all ears. Let's do chrono. Let's do, got the literals. So we'll do stood, so const auto start equals stood chrono steady clock now. Oops. And const auto wait time equals 1 second. Probably just make these autos, to be honest, but Here we are. Stirred chrono nanoseconds. I actually want this to be nanoseconds. So I get better fidelity. No, actually, no. What am I doing? What? Wait time. Oh, I've decided to get rid of that. Oh, comments. I should be. I'm a professional streamer. I should really be paying attention to what people are saying. I just run the tests ad hoc when I want to. There's nothing apart from the release process. There's nothing that kind of just automatically runs them. Disowned. Hello. Yeah, it's going pretty good. It's hot, but we're getting there. Okay, and then we can just do assert greater than end minus start wait time. I'm hoping it's clever enough to the macro sort all the timings out, the types out for us. But basically, like, it should run for at least this amount of time, and this is long enough that it should have some side effect. Is it a good test? I don't know. Are any of them good tests? It's hard to say. What do you mean by C# like formatting? Am I willing to rank the big three compilers based on their my own preferences? Oh. I think that the timings are... I don't actually know what backs them, because can you have a fraction... Can you have reals on, like, seconds? I think there might be integers, because they're ratios, right? Nice. The line parentheses when formatting the code. Which parentheses? The problem with C++ is I have a lot of parentheses. I'd be interested to know. Like, I'm curious to know what you mean, because I don't know specifically what you think is C#-esque. I have been a C# programmer before, so maybe I've picked up some syntax from them. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's it's just, I think you are... Everyone is a victim of their own upbringing, right? So the first C++ job I ever had curly braces on new lines, and that's what I did for 5 or 6 years. And now that is just what I consider comfortable. I'm skirting around the question. So this was change. I'm gonna say fix, because I think it was actually a bug. Fix queue order, and then finish test. I think Clang is probably my top choice, because I like the modular design of it and how easy or easier it is to interface with. Thanks. It's called LazyGit. Just check it out. It's pretty sweet. Okay, let's write some more coroutines. So I want to go back to wait. So the other thing I want to wait on is another coroutine. Like, I want to be able to co-await a new task, which will again get put into the scheduler and won't complete until that is done. Actually, I'm wondering if it's worth refactoring the variant first. because really, this wait task here, this should just be something like that. Right? Is that what we're envisioning? Something like that, and then we can just slap in whatever we want, and then we can just call it. Do I know anything about the Wii 360 decomps in particular? I have never really been involved with or had anything to do with decomps. I think they're fascinating. I kind of watch from the sidelines, but I have no insight, I'm afraid. So this way, if we can bundle up a function, should this be a copy? Should be this new copy function? I'm just going to stick with function at the moment because it's what I know, but there's obviously move only function and copy function now, and function ref. I think the zero cost abstraction is a good philosophy. I think pragmatism has to set in and not everything can be zero cost, but I think if you shoot for that and document where it's not the case, then I think that's kind of, it's probably one of the few things everyone can kind of agree on, right? Is that, you know, it should, you only pay for what you use. That's, I don't know many C++ devs who don't agree with that. Software engineering is all about pragmatism at the end of the day. Like, you have to provide some value, some impact through the work, which means you are, but you're also fundamentally constrained by the tools you have, by the languages, their abilities, the tooling, the tool chains, etc. So everything is a trade-off. I think it's just I think the job is finding the right trade-off. Okay, so we should be able to just put in, we can queue something up with an empty function. And then we just do, it's not target anymore, is it? It's something like is complete. So if we have an is complete and is complete is true, then we can resume it. That logic doesn't really make any sense now, does it? I think I want not is I think this needs to be nested. If is complete. If is complete. If it's complete. If I'm going mad. If is complete. I feel there's probably like a binary, like there's a Boolean formula for that, which just claps it down to a single if. Is it like if not incomplete, or oh, I've got to find the OR key on my new keyboard. This is gonna be fun. Nope. Nope. Oh, definitely not that. Shit. And escape. I had this. No. What's? Ah, there we go. No. Okay, found it. It's obviously Shift Alt /. Obviously. Oh, I get to try again though, which is fun. Is that right? If I don't have a completion handler, i.e. I'm not waiting on anything, then resume. Or if I do have it, and it is true, then resume. Oh, use the OR keyword. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Oh yeah, so it's a... I'm going to unplug it, which means it's not going to work afterwards. So it's a US style 60%, but I refuse to use the US layout on my PC, so I have to manually, so like 2 is definitely a double quote, not an at, even though the keyboard suggests otherwise. But what I don't understand about the US keyboard is that it thinks I need a really long shift key and that the useful / key needs to be over here. I don't really understand that. It very much doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why I need such a super long left shift key. Yes, you're right. That is probably not the best name now that we've written all that out. Can resume? Do we think that's better? Or maybe check resume and no function implies that it can always be resumed. Is complete with check resume. I'll go with check resume. I see. I didn't realize you had your left fingers docked at birth. I don't use goto unless I'm writing C. I think goto is the correct mechanism for handling errors on C, but it makes no sense in C++ when you have RAI and exceptions. Maybe. I think we'll just keep going and see how we get onto it. A lot of this thing I kind of have to feel out as we go along. Let's just see if we can get it wired in and the test's still running, because that's the most important thing. Just because yeah, we'll see. Let's see. Okay, so we find the task, and then we need to do task dot check resume equals what do we want? Take a copy of wait ticks. It's not going to need any arguments, and then we can do. Oh, actually, hang on. This, and then we can return what am I doing? I want to return. Basically I want to take this logic here, right, which I've deleted. Return tick count is greater. Or, hang on, which way is it? The tick count's going to be behind us. So return tick count is equal to wait ticks. I think I need to do the const autolow future tick equals wait ticks plus tick count, right? And then this becomes future tick, and then if tick count is equal to future tick. What do we think of that? Games, it's getting there. Oh, actually, that's a good point. Because don't I? Yes, you're right. No, I want if the tick count. If I've no, no, no. I want to expect that tick count is less than or equal to future tick, right? Tick count not sync with wait, because if the tick count has ever managed to get one past it, then we've somehow missed that out on a schedule link, on a schedule loop, and I would classify that as a bug. So I think we expect, which is my version of assert, that the tick count is always behind or equal to the future tick, and then once we get there, we return true. We should never move more than one tick at once, right? Every tick, we should be checking every awaitable on every tick, whether it is its turn. Even if you wait for 3 ticks, it will still get called on each of those. Yeah, don't need parens. Get rid of them. Whereas the time, which we will not have deterministic control of how long each tick takes, will not have this expect, and we'll have that. So we'll do that now. So put that in there. So get rid of that, sack that off, eat that straight into the sea. Future time equals wait time plus elapsed time. Did I call it? Or is it just elapsed? Great variable naming there. I love it. Time, and get rid of this, and then return elapsed is greater than or equal to future time. That should shrink down. Okay, so I think that's a little bit nicer. So hopefully, again, now, like, our coroutine, like, schedule loop is absolutely, this works. It's pretty tiny. I don't use static analysis. I've used PVS Studio before, and it's pretty good, but it's also, like, last time I looked, quite pricey. I should probably be better at tooling for this. I didn't set a lot of it up to the start, and now it means it's kind of a pain to retrofit, and to be honest, I'm less inclined to do it. I think next project, we'll try and start off with something better to start with. I might use Clang CL for the next project, we'll see. Nailed it. Test still pass. Poor imagination. Glad you enjoyed it. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming along. Glad you're enjoying the videos. Hope you find this useful as well. So refactor scheduler to use lambdas. I'm very tempted to make the jump to Linux on my next machine. I just I think I mentioned this before on Discord. We have a Discord. Is the big unknowns for me are DaVinci, Photoshop, and the Stream Deck. Everything else, I think, like, apparently DaVinci works, but it's a massive pain. Apparently Photoshop doesn't work, and it's a massive pain. And apparently the Stream Deck kind of works with people's sort of third-party plugins and stuff. So it's whether 3 of those are the big ones. I'm not going console, so I'm okay. When this game becomes massive and I can outsource the the porting of it, then some poor outsourcing company would be like, oh, it's C++, we can port this to Xbox. It's like, oh no, he's used coroutines. This is never going to work. Yeah, I just again, the thing is, like, Photoshop is within my budget. I don't mind paying it. It's a tool that I know how to use. I like it. I know my way around it. The AI generation stuff is actually pretty good, and the AI cutout stuff is pretty good, and I use that a lot. So it's one of the few tools where I think the AI added value is actually kind of okay. What version of C++ can you use? Okay, so now let's go to weight. You don't have to disclose that about your personal life, Harrond. It's fine. I still think we need the variant here because we'll be waiting on different things. We could alternatively subclass them or template them, but I'm happy just to use template them. Oh, actually, I hadn't considered that. Would this be better off as a template? It's not unnecessary. Weight thing doesn't sound professional. Weight object? Oh, we've already got weight object. Oh, it's fine. Perfect. Just cheeky little stood forward there. Slide that in there. Oh, look at this. Deleting code. All the best diffs are red. All the best diffs are red, unless they're in tests. And then all we have to do now. Nice, good one. That's fine. It's good. Lucky to have C++ 17 features. As long as you got optional, which I think is probably one of the best parts of C++ 17, I'd be kind of okay with that. I think I would miss concepts. I would miss ranges, obviously, definitely, but then you could use probably range v3. I don't trailing underscore on structs. Okay, personal, I guess, maybe an idiosyncrasy, but as these are public, then they shouldn't have the underscore. This probably could actually be a class. I don't think I need to expose these. But actually, maybe that's a good point. Maybe we can make that. Maybe we can tighten this whole thing up a bit. All right, and then which one do I want? Again, apologies to our American friends. We are scheduling, not scheduling. Well, the whole point of this stream is to build as much from scratch as possible to kind of go through how I solve these kind of problems and go through some of the low level stuff. So whilst I do really like Ogre 3D, I'm a big fan of it. There's more, I think, for us to kind of go through and learn by doing this as much from scratch as possible. Yes, it is. Good spot. Oh no, it's because I put that there. Get there in the end. Okay. That should just work, right? Because of template type deduction. CTAD that. Okay, maybe not. Cannot bind an L value to an R value. I just want to take this by, to be honest. There's all going to be small primitive types anyway. Probably want that. So I do feel for people picking up C++ because it is complex and it only gets more complex every 3 years, and best practices change and idioms change. So, but it's all learnable. It's all doable. You just got to kind of pick subsets of the language to kind of focus on and learn, and then you'll just sort of slowly, incrementally build your knowledge up. I have Copilot. I pay for it personally, but I've turned it off for this project because, again, I think it's more fun to bash my head against it with, you know, like, what's that? Like over 100 people here? Hello, 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 hello. Refactor weight with templates. That's going to be super easy to add another to co-weight on a task, because all we have to do is go over to the scheduler and add another reschedule. And then we're going to give it the... We are rescheduling... Who are we rescheduling? The child. So I just want to wait for another coroutine to be done, right? I want to wait for the child to be done. No, C++ will never be finished. It's impossible. There's no reason to ever stop. There's always new things to add, attempts to remove old things, that kind of stuff. And then let me write some of this code, and then we'll see if it's actually going to work. This is what I'm thinking, right? Third coroutine handle child, and then I don't need any of this, because then I don't even need to capture this. I just need to capture the child and return child dot not child dot done. No, child dot done. The child is done, then go. So there's no, I think it's very, there is no like threading in this. It's all single threaded. All I'm using is coroutines to build a scheduler. So the idea is that functions can cooperatively decide when they want to be rescheduled in terms of like, so the scheduler is the game loop. Okay, it's basically whilst there are tasks that need doing, do them. But within that, the tasks themselves can decide to say, hey, okay, run me on the next tick, run me in 2 ticks, run me in 5 ticks, or run me in 10 milliseconds, run me in 100 milliseconds. So that's kind of how it works. So the whole thing is single threaded. It's just using coroutines to manage the scheduling of the tasks. There's no real difference between like a for loop and a bunch of callbacks. I just thought this would be fun. But so it's async. So there's lots of confusing terminology here. It's async, I guess, in terms of like maybe C# and Python, where it's a coroutine. It's not async like std async. But the the beauty of this is that in theory, we could create a scheduler object per thread. And then when we schedule stuff, it could go out and find any of those threads and stick it in their queue. And then each of those could be running through these. And then when they produce child jobs, they could go out to multiple threads. Because basically, imagine you've got 4 threads, okay? And you're running a task and it needs to wait for 4 child tasks to finish, okay? And you have... so you would put those into some sort of job queue, and then you would block and wait, which would then leave 3 threads to execute 4 jobs. So you'd have to wait for one of those jobs to be finished in a thread, so the thread could then pick up the remaining one. I think, like, for me, the end goal is to have it so that the parent deschedules itself, frees up that thread to run one of the tasks. So you run all 4 threads, all 4 tasks in parallel, and then the parent resumes. That's kind of the ultimate goal of what I'd like to get to. I guess I think there's something called like an MN job scheduler. You can do it with fibers, which is really. But the fun thing about that is that jobs migrate between threads. So just the thread that it started on might not be the one it finishes on. So there's lots of interesting things around that. But we don't need that for this, and I'm not going to do it for this project. No, it is impossible to create a program that cannot be reverse engineered. Given enough time, like if it runs on your computer, you can figure out what it does, given enough time and perseverance. It's just whether it's worth it to you or not. Do I need any more than that? Do I need any more than that? I don't think this is going to work. Yes, I've seen the mob-only compiler. It's funny. Because let's write a test. I want to simple await task. So let's have a foo here. Okay, let's see if we can await that. So scheduler add, scheduler wait. Foo? That's basically what I want. That's basically what I want to do. Is to be able to say wait on this coroutine. Just tidy this up a bit because there's a lot of stuff here we don't need. But I think the problem is that this produces a task, not a coroutine handle. So I suspect we might have to do some template specialization. Because it's going to be like scheduler... Schedule reschedule. No overloader function. Convert all the argument types on wait 30. Yes. So, actually, no. Maybe this then takes actually a task. Ref. We'll worry about lifetimes now. Scheduler. task, and then this takes child dot. Oh, well, we might need to break the abstraction here. We already have a scheduled task because it would have already been added because we'll be running within the scheduler. So what we're doing is we're effectively adding a new... no, I see what you mean. Yes. There, this isn't going to work because in here we need to do scheduler.add wait object. If... oh, this is grim. A little bit specification there. We add the scheduler to the queue. The task that is found should also be checked if it's valid task. I can't remember if I checked that. Yeah, we can always go and look at that. Yeah, because I want to keep the interface this, right? I don't want to schedule the task and then add and then wait on it. I want to be able to say wait on it, and part of that waiting is it gets scheduled. And then I think that's not going to work. Connor, hello. Sorry, just in time for this. Handle's not a member of task. Okay, fine. So I was quite keen to avoid leaking this, which is why we had this task, but I don't think I have a choice now. I think I have to auto native handle const stirred coroutine handle. I will keep it non-templated though, just to restrict it, because it should cast that. Okay. And then h equals native handle. That work? It won't. Attempting to refresh. Yes, where? Where am I copying this deleted function? Oh, I just need to move it in there, don't I? Ooh. Oh. Not convinced. The issue there is that I'm moving this away, which will leave this in a valid but unknown state. So this has to happen first. But can I reschedule this before I've even scheduled the child? We're using Lua for level design. That was a few streams ago. We're going to bring that back soon. I mean, this certainly builds, but we're in the throes of some C++ madness. Computer, hello. Computer, hello. Didn't even say no. It just said. Okay, what's going on? What's going on here? I think I need to see more of this in one go. So our test here schedules it. We reschedule ourselves based on the wait object, which copies the coroutine handle out, which is fine because it's copyable in and of itself. I think the answer is to go back to the coroutine handle and not worry about this, because we can just pull that out and store it all in the const explorer. All the C++ words today, I'm using them all. Child, and then if the child's done, off we go, and then back to wait, and then this should be this. Oop, don't schedule it twice, that makes things way worse. Auto handle equals wait object. Oh, we could use the pass key actually. I'm wondering if we, just so not everyone can get the handle. The progress on the render, right? It's rendering. It's rendering. We're just I'm busy breaking everything else. I only add debug logging when I'm debugging, otherwise it ends up hanging around like a bad smell. 34 handle. Oh shoot. No, I see. Yes. Yes. What am I trying to do? What am I trying to do? If it's a task, I think this is right. I think this API here is what I want. Which means this fundamentally has to have a task object. Which means oh, hang on. Then I just need to move the wait object in. I think. Coding speed I don't think is a particularly useful metric. I can write a lot about code very quickly. Okay, so I've not made it any better. We add the task in, which is in a suspended state. We reschedule ourselves based on that. I'm just... what do I want? I want scheduler. What's it doing? Scheduler. I static link against much as I can, just because I kind of like to have it know it's all there. No, I'm just going to get out the keys. Okay, right. Want me key hotkeys in this because it's been all right. F10. So Q. This Q has one task in it when you run, which is fine. That's the initial task. That's this task. Okay, so can we put a breakpoint here? So when we continue to here, okay, we've got our wait object, which we've constructed. So FN shift 11, all right. So then we're going to wait ready. That's fine. So then we're going to end up here. So continue. So now we're here. No, gtest will just drop off the bottom if you don't assert anything. It's fine. What I suspect is happening is it's not clearing one of the scheduler will loop as long as there are tasks present. So I suspect it's not correctly marking one as done. So we're going to get the handle for this. So this should be our child. Okay. H here is our parent. It's us because we have suspended. So I think I just need to go back to the game loop here. So Q has two things in it. Okay. Can I see what those actually are? So we got the first. Why does it put them in that order? Oh, of course, because the parent one has the resume updated because it's waiting on the child. That's fine. So we can see here that the first task that we put in now has a check resume function, which is checking on the child, and the child is the second one, which doesn't have anything. So the second one should be resumed at the end, going through this, right? Okay, so let's step over this. So what do I want? F10? When's it home? So I'm used to x64 debug. Okay, so we got this. So we got the task. This is the first task in the queue. It can be resumed, and then this should return false. So this shouldn't resume it because the child is not yet complete, which is correct. It then goes back round again, picks up the second job. Okay, this can be resumed because it has no resume checker it resumes it. Okay, so what's interesting about coroutines is if I step into this function, I should end up in that coroutine, right? So if I step into this, I should end up in. If I set a breakpoint, it would probably happen. Fine, that coroutine is finished. So this now. Why do we go back around? Okay, fine. So the queue should empty out the child. Oh, is the handle going out of scope? I wonder if the child handle's going out of scope. So then we go back round. So we're now left with this, with check resume. I wonder if this handle is now gone out of scope. So then when we go around here, that's fine. Go around here, we pick up the task, we go in. Interesting, it didn't pick it up. So this must still be returning not done, but I wonder if it's just because the child just doesn't exist anymore. How do I stop that happening? Yeah, actually, I think the easiest way is because you want that task to go. No, I think what we'll do is we'll go to scheduler, and then here we'll have a unit 32t weight count. Child weight count. Okay. And then into scheduler. And then when we reschedule something with this, we will do task weight count plus. Okay, so we'll increment the weight count. Okay, and then if hang on, if not Why don't we do something like if not child done, turn false, else task dot wait count minus minus return true, because we know it's going to get resumed in the next tick anyway, and this gives us a link back, automatic link back to the parent without having to worry about pointers or anything. And then basically hang on, sorry, there's someone being just give me a second. Apologies about that. I was focusing on something and wasn't paying attention to chat. Let's just remove that person. I don't think it does, because I don't care if the child is gone, because I only care whether my wait count is zero. If not check resume, when do I need to always No, wait a minute. No, this is never going to work. I've got myself confused because I'm the parent checking, right? This is... I need the child done. So this needs a student 32t parent wait count. Okay. So when we schedule a task, it has 0u and parent wait count. Sorry, what am I doing? Null pointer. Okay. We'll figure out how to put that in a second, but when we reschedule ourselves, so this is the parent task based on the child, all we need to return is get myself tied up in knots here. I think this is right. So as the parent, I only care when I have my task, and this should return wait task dot wait count equals 0. Okay, and then I will increment that to start with. So in fact, I don't actually need their handle, because their handle will automatically be checked as part of the scheduling loop anyway. I just need this to disambiguate the reschedules. Okay, so then I need to be able to add a new task with a child. I think that's what I want. So then if you do this, this will set up the bookkeeping. I think I feel like this is the answer, because then when you have multiple tasks, all you have to do is increase that number. I feel like this is it. Wait a minute. What happens if the function owns the pointer? Let's just have parent wait count, okay. And you can say, hey, I'm going to add a task. It already has a wait count, okay. So when we add this, so that goes there, and then this becomes wait count, okay. It is beginning to grow limbs just a little bit, but I think it's fine. Because we're going to need this anyway if you want to wait on multiple tasks. So you'd have to have a way of communicating back. Either you store a reference to all their handles, which risks them going out of scope, or you have some sort of just a counter, which would have to be atomic if we went to multiple threads. I think it's fine. So, okay, so you add a task, and you say, I'm either adding a task or I'm adding a task with the wait count, which implies that it already has other tasks. And then what we do, right, stood unique pointer int wait count. So this will be owning the so down here, and then the unique pointer int. What am I doing? Absolute madman. Let's go call this counter. It's the unique pointer, the uint 32t counter. Okay. Give her that. And their check resume is, I think it's stood move counter. Okay, and then their task is, so they are done when counter equals 0. Okay. So then, scheduler wait. So in the time when you are adding a task, you will, what will you do? You will auto counter equals stood make unique the uint 32t 0u. Okay. Nope. One task. Here it is. We will add the task with add the to dot get, and then we will reschedule with stood move counter. No, it's not multi-threaded. Okay, fine. So we create the counter, we set it to 1. We put, when we move in the child task, right? We are scheduling the child task. We're saying, here is your pointer. And then when we reschedule the parent, we give it ownership of that memory. And then all we have to do is just do, whenever we resume a task, we just do if, hang on. Counter, all right. Steady. After we finished, if parent counter s minus star parent counter. What could be easier? I might not do multiple tasks now. I think we've probably spent enough time on this. I kind of want to start integrating it. The target function must be copy constructible. Give me a line number. Give me a line number. Reschedule. Schedule line 61. Oh. Stud function has to be copyable, which means it can't own a non-copyable resource. Good job, we've got move only function. Oh, that worked. It's because the type erasure under the hood, it has to conform to like the lowest common denominator, so it has to assume everything is copyable. It cannot inherently be move only, which is why they added move only function, which, what a great name. Ooh, access violation. Nice. We're getting there. Let's just run that under a wee debugger. Where are my tests? Hello? Okay, yeah, okay. Sorry, fathead in the way. It's here. It doesn't like my parent counter. Looks like a memory address to me. It can't have gone out of scope because it's still both in the queue. And I only persist the internal pointer when I reschedule when I add the task. Why are you unhappy with that? I don't want a Copilot summary. I'd like to just know what my just run that again so we get to pause there. So it's definitely resumed the task, okay. And then, oh no, it's definitely bad memory there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's definitely got poison value in it. what are my tasks look like? This queue. This will be the child task at second. Have I got my precedence order? Have I done the thing where you rewind the pointer? No, because that wouldn't make sense. No, the pointer's parent wait. Why is parent wait counter valid address here, but the local one is go away watch. I'm not watching anything, go away. Is different. That what? Yeah, but why would the point like all I'm doing is iterating through this queue, right? I don't sorry, it's a little bit small. I don't think I can really embiggen this much. The task here has a parent wait count of this address pointing to this number 1. That is what I'm iterating through. But when I have pulled it out here, it's got a different value. Yeah, I'm wondering if I've just made like, if I just made a schoolboy error. I can't remember the precedence of them. It'd be funny if that was right up against page boundary. Is it possible for task resume to mutate the queue? It shouldn't be. I'm also going to need hash include IO stream. Just because if it's crashing, it might not print that out. Can it be printing void pointers? It's the first. So hang on, what happens if I do static cast void star q 1 dot parent wait count? So that's where I think I am. I'm pretty sure I'm on the first iteration. I should verify that as well. I need to be a bit more strict with my test filtering. I just can't understand why that's not, why that's a bad value, because it only gets the value from here. It's disconnected. Hello? Hello? Apparently, anyone still out there? Apparently OBS disconnected. I'm still here. Okay. It just popped up. It's like, I'm reconnecting you. I was like, I didn't know you had stopped. Exciting. So shared So simple await task. Let's do simple await task. Look, what am I doing wrong? And I guess no, it's probably not valid to do anything with that after the resume, because I've gone into another coroutine and probably popped out somewhere else. I bet you have to do it before you go in. Come on, that's definitely not what I want to be typing. Nice. Okay, that's because I'm now printing stuff that doesn't exist. So let's get rid of that. Do the bookkeeping, then resume the coroutine, because that will then keep going to co-wait again, and then that will resume after that. I wonder if that was the problem with how we were doing it anyway. Nice. Okay. Let's check they all still work. Okay, so all my tests run. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I was calling into a coroutine, which then was potentially suspending execution. I wonder if this stack variable had then changed between that and that. Pogez, I believe, is the correct pronunciation. It's funny because this is such a great example of why checking for like null pointer isn't always great. Like I've checked for one invalid pointer value, but it doesn't matter. There can be loads of other invalid ones, like D, FE, FE, FE. Not checking for those. I'm only checking for one invalid pointer value. It's kind of funny, really. I think it was just to do with the weirdness of coroutines and moving stacks around and stuff like that. Okay, let's see if we can test this, because I need to... Can I just keep writing more and more miserable lambdas? Because what I want to do is I want to check that... I want to check that this gets executed first before this. So I need to make sure that the foo has a side effect. It's only used there, so that's fine. So I could do... I just really can't bother to type it all out. Oh, steady. I'm going to get copy. That's a bug I could do without. So it should be done. Boo. It won't be done either. It'll be start. End. Yeah, they are. Well, promises are dynamically allocated. Okay, so it'll be using new under the hood, and I suspect the MSVC debug CRT is when it deallocates them is filling them with known bad values. That's what I suspect is happening. I reckon that whole it's not gone out of scope. I reckon it's actually been deallocated under the hood, which is why I was saying couldn't access that memory. That whole stack had been gone because the coroutine had finished, I guess. I'd have to sit. It's hard to do live. Like I'd have to sit down and probably trace it through a bit of paper. But I suspect there's been a deallocation of where the stacked variables were stored, and because of that, Microsoft had filled it with bad values. Nice. Okay, we're done. We finished. Wait on other tasks. So basically, I guess as a super simple recap, our scheduler allows you to add a task to it. The task that's added is not executed at that point. It is merely popped onto a queue, just a little queue. It's just sitting there waiting for something to happen. Ignore the rescheduling madness, and then our whole scheduler just runs whilst there are tasks to be executed. It takes each one off the queue. It checks if it can resume it because there'll be coroutines that'll be suspended. It will resume it if it can, and then it just removes. Otherwise, it doesn't resume it, and it will just use a lambda function to basically check whatever that means. It is irrelevant what that check condition is. It will just check for it. It will resume it, and then it will remove all the resumed ones, and it doesn't bookkeeping around time. So I think for like an event loop that lets you have quite fine-grained control over when you are run, it's not a lot of code. Complete it, mate. I mean, no, if anyone's got half an hour left, so I'm going to start integrating this to see truly what misery awaits us when we actually try and do this. But I'm kind of curious if anyone has any thoughts or any questions. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to go through it because it's not a lot of code, but it's reasonably advanced C++. Like you got all the gubbins here. Oh no, exceptions. I lie. We must do exceptions first. Can't get away from that. Let's write a test. So yes, that's a good point. Let's I'll definitely remember. So I'll definitely remember that when that happens again. Outrageous. Okay, so now we want just a simple coroutine. I don't think I need the scheduler. I don't think I need any of that. All I need to do is check that when we schedule it and it goes round. So we'll print out the stack trace as well. We should see the stack trace come from the scheduler, which I guess is slightly misleading because it might not come from where we've scheduled it, but it is what it is. Oh yeah. What a good spot there. And then this needs to have is it assert throw? Because this should bubble up out of this eventually. Doesn't like that, does it? Oh, we've done this before. Oh, I see. I just have to do... Fine. I guess we'll just assume that it gets the right thing. So I think this will fail because we are not handling any of the exceptions yet. Yeah, it throws nothing. The worst kind of code. Okay, so if we go back to our task... Oh, hang on, let me just... Don't want to get this confused. This is add the missing assert. Okay, so unhandled as part of the state machine, unhandled exception will be called for us when an exception is thrown. So this will be like, there'll literally be somewhere in there a try catch ... call unhandled exception. So we should be able to do, let me just, ooh, naughty. I'll spot that. Let's accept. So we should be able to do the exception pointer, and then exception pointer equals the current exception. So this will get the current exception in flight and will stuff and store a pointer to it, which means later on when we resume will... I think I actually want to do this afterwards now. I think I want to do if exception, if handle dot promise dot exception pointer should rethrow exception handle dot promise dot exception pointer. Okay, that will just rethrow it from here. So it will go through, it will capture the exception, it will do any cleanup and stuff it needs to, it will drop out of here, having quote unquote finished the coroutine, and then it will rethrow it. This is, I would have, if you don't know C++, this is maybe not the best intro to it. I will admit it is quite overwhelming. I'm using basically everything, pretty much anything that is. I'm using it all. Oh God, have I got the same problem? Should I not be doing it after the resume? But then how would I know? No, because you must be able to get the promise after you must be able to get the promise after you resumed it. Otherwise, how else would you get a return value? I cannot wait for reflection. I'm going to reflect the shit out of everything. I'm going to be doing that double carry horror all over the place. I'm going to rewrite all the Lua stuff, all the Lua bindings to just reflect it out. Yeah, we got at least half an hour fixing this now. Hello, VS Code, my old friend. Come to debug with you again. It's don't fear change. Embrace it. You know it's right. You know that's where the language is going. There's no need to sack it off. Hey? Who? What? Did it just not? Why is it? What? Why is it running VS Code? Hey? Like, am I going mad? Like this test. This test runs. Ooh, is it not like if I run them? Oh, so I'm looking at the wrong test. Simple wait task is now failing. No, exception is fine. I was just looking at the wrong. I was expecting it to ignore me. It's hot. It's been a long day. Why is await task now failing? What could possibly have changed? Ooh. Oh no, but yeah, but I wouldn't expect that error. Let's just check. No, it's definitely it's now passing. It doesn't like this. Why would it not like this? Could the handle be out of scope by that point? I think a handle is guaranteed to return a promise if the handle is valid. Sorry, you have to put my head bin in the way for the moment. It's using a shared pointer somewhere in there. It's because this is after the resume again, but I feel like putting it after is wrong. Yeah, it's definitely wrong. Okay, let's try some things. Well, we're checking that we get the pointer back. Okay, let's. What's weird? Okay, what's strange about this is I've got nothing. I'm not throwing any exceptions. It's purely the fact that it's running through this code. Okay, and it's probably the fact that it's getting the promise. So I guess the promise is bad. We do null check the exception pointer. Because one might not have been. Might be uninitialized memory. Might be uninitialized memory. I believe so. I believe exception pointer does what you think it should do. Oh, nope. Okay, fine. I was wrong. Let's just, right. I'm pretty sure it's accessing the promise. Okay. I don't. Again, I don't think it was. I think it was crashing before that. But we'll definitely check. We'll definitely check now. On this. So let's do tests. Let's debug this and see what we get to. Probably want to put a breakpoint here. Okay, so step over this. Oh yeah, it's definitely that. It crashes on promise. So why is this sad? We've got a promise. It says it's not. Let's just try again. Oh, that's just default initialized, isn't it? So this handle. Yeah, this is all weird. This handle is invalid. The thing is though, after the handle's been resumed, I have to be able to get access to the promise, because if it did return a value, that's the only way to getting access to it. So I'm curious why that is being funny. And just for this test as well, specifically. So what's different about, right, let's take a step back then. What's different about this test? Because the other tests, it seems okay with, right? It's, which one is failing? Await task. Because there's more than one thing in the queue, potentially. I think we need to debug this scheduler and see what's going on specifically in this test. So we'll put a breakpoint here. And then we will debug just this test. So we start off with one thing in the queue, that's fine. Step over Fn, F10. This task has a doesn't have a check resume, doesn't have a parent counter, resumes, ends up here, and then dies. Is that right though? Because I'm a big fan of Raymond Chen. The old new thing is an excellent source of Windows curios. So we resume. Okay, so this resume starts this coroutine. And then calls scheduler. Oh, whoa, ho. I think I've said it. Shifts all the memory around, doesn't it? So if I've got, does this mean when I have to reallocate the vector to resize it, everything's moving in front of my feet? This is not the correct answer, but let's let's just see if that fixes it. Thank you. It was good. John is a really nice guy, and it was great just to sit down whilst I stood up and talk to him. No, just go back to deck. Yeah, that is it. Fun. Absolutely brilliant. Good one. Fun was had all round. I would posit reserve is only for optimization. If your code relies on you calling reserve to be functionally correct, I would argue that's a bug. Vector should just work, but you should pre-allocate for optimization. Hot take. Turn that into a short. So deck has stable entries. It won't adding new entries will not change the memory position of the internal ones, even if it has to grow, because the way it works, it's basically a linked list of small arrays. But I don't think ArrayZif works. I think ArrayZif is specialized purely for vector. I could be wrong. No, the correct solution is to use the correct data structure, which is DEC, which gives the guarantees that I want. Whoa, ArrayZif works on DEC. Exciting. Did not know that. I thought it was a specialization for vector. Okay, so now we can go back to... I wonder as well if this was the issue here. Interesting. I did not know that. Today I learned. Right, so now, let's just revert this back to... This will work. Need more context per exception soon. Linked list is a solution. I find that linked list is rarely the right solution because it's got terrible cache coherency and you can get very similar guarantees with other data structures. I would always pick DEC over linked list. It's just all in my head. Everything, it's all up here. Nice. Okay, so now we have exceptions working. I am curious to know whether this was the issue we had before. Because I still feel like I should do the work and then update the bookkeeping. No. Oh, sorry. DEC looks like a kind of like a linked list of arrays. Where's it? See if there's an image of it. Any of these what I want. Blah, 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 blah. You basically have a bunch of blocks and those are kind of in a linked list. But it basically what it means is you can still index it into any element in order one time, but it pre-allocates small blocks. The only problem is Microsoft's implementation of DEC is not very good, and they can't break it due to certain ABI compatibilities. I think the block size is like 64 bytes or something. I think it is almost a linked list under the hood because of some design decisions they made quite a while ago. I believe Raymond Chen has an article on this. Yes, that was the issue. Okay, I wasn't convinced by that, but I'm happy with that. Is now resolved. So a little bit more code, but still not loads. Okay. You just pick up. I just pick up odds and sods. You know, if you do this professionally, you just pick up odds and sods as you go along, and then if you're a madman like me, you decide to stand up in front of like, blimey, that is 170 people here. Hello, everyone, and try and remember everything you've learned over the last decade of your life. My mic has dropped. Hello. Testing. Hello. Yes, correct. I have a family and I have a job, and this is my hobby, along with making YouTube videos. The streaming is my hobby away from my hobby because it's nice just to sort of hang out with cool, interesting people and write code and try and convince them that they should let exceptions into their lives. And I know I'm right because it's in the core guidelines. So, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Everyone's agreed. Deck's great, really useful. It's order one to push front and back. It has stable positioning. It's not as fast as Vector to iterate through potentially, but it is pretty good. It's what is used under the hood for std queue and std stack. Hello. Why is everyone joining now? This is true. Okay, you know what? I'll give you if you want to be the Moriarty in this story, that's fine. I will push you off a waterfall though. I think that's just the only way this can be resolved. And then I go with you and survive and don't tell anyone how I do it. Maybe that's. I'm also not going to smoke a load of opium either. I think this analogy ends here. The best way to learn anything is just to like start and have a go and make some mistakes. So I would find a reason. There is a I can't remember what it is. There is a CMake book, I think, written by one of the authors of CMake. It is. I've not read it, but it's supposed to be pretty good. I would probably start there or just ask the Oracle. Right. Okay. I'm quite pleased with this. I think we've for stream 60. Big milestone. Stick that in the git hole. I don't think it's bad. I think we wrote. It's as robust as any of the code I've written so far, which is not very. Should we just see if this still right? Actually, the actual game runs. When was the last time we ran it? Hello. Debug. I don't remember where is it source debugging? I guess for anyone who's new here, not actually seen what we've been working on. Has anyone tried this out yet, by the way? Because I do a alpha build at the end of the streams, and then I post them on GitHub with a link on the Discord. And has anyone actually tried this yet? I'm curious to know if this works on anyone's machine. And then the impossible level. I think this is impossible. I do not think this is solvable. You just have to get a new account or sack something else off, I'm afraid. No, it's all right. I'm just curious because, like, if you go to a Hartman41 became a member on YouTube, thanks very much. Which means you've just. I will do the lottery in a minute, but you've guaranteed yourself a spot, so you don't have to gamble for it. I will. Well, so what I do is at the end of the stream, I try. Shit, I try and quit Vim, which apparently is harder than it should be. I run my release script. This does a full. No, oh, steady. We're not quite done yet. Oh, damn it! I've already tagged it and pushed it. That's gonna mess things up. Watch as I faff around with my tooling now. Commit bump version 4T stream 60. I'm so glad so many people watch me really fail to Git then. I don't want to okay, sack that off, sort out later. I don't want to talk about it. But what I now do is I run my release script, which will build a fresh version of the code. It will run the tests and it will package it up into a zip. I stick that zip on GitHub which then sends a notification to Discord telling you that you can get it. So, but this takes a little bit of time to build and run, because it does a fresh, clean, fresh, hot off the press build. We used RenderDoc quite a lot in the streams to fix my terrible OpenGL code. We've relied on it quite a lot. We don't talk about the time that I accidentally had one of the vertices selected and couldn't work out why it was coloured red. That's something else I don't like to talk about. This is one from Galaxy's Edge. Oh, that's where I break it. Oh. Yes, when I was in it does the whoosh. It does, if you flick it hard enough, you get the sort of deflector noises, but this room is not big enough to flick it around. I wait till everyone's gone to bed, then I run around the bottom floor of my house waving it around. But yeah, when I went to Florida to Mouseland with my family, my one indulgence was to go and build a lightsaber. This is where. I mean, this is my other indulgence. I took my kids to Legoland for one of their birthdays and spent more on myself than them, which I think is only fair. Yes, because I've got different kyber crystals here. I've got the yellow one and the white one, and they're not cheap. No, Mouseland America. I do go to. We try and get down to the Paris one once a year because it's good fun and we can drive, which is nice. But no, this was a big trip to Florida, which was good fun. I don't have much else to add. My brain is completely fried from debugging miserable vector issues and coroutine issues. Hacker Room Tour, you have seen it. That is it. My office is literally 2 meters by 3 meters, with the 42-inch monitor here and the desk, and then a mic arm and some lights. And that's kind of pretty much it. In some of the videos it has you sort of this view of it. I think the Bugs Life one does, because I did a bit with the camera mounted to the wall, because I found that I used to mount the camera to my desk, and then I have a habit of just you probably hear it on the mic all the time, just knocking into it, and I could see the camera wobbling when I was cutting up into shorts, so I just stuck it on the wall. Well, the game doesn't work. Great, absolutely no exception, no nothing. No, I would consider myself a professional software engineer, and have been since I left university. Wow, great. Let's hope adding Coroutines fixes it. Pass. Interesting. Okay. It has that actually. If you hang on, I'm in the wrong. Where am I? Oh, it's because I'm running all this. That source main. Yeah, we've got the Pokemon catch here. So you've got this, and then maybe I need to add some more debug logging. Maybe we'll do that next time. See how it goes. This is built, all tests passed, this is packaging up. So I've got 0.0.3, so I'll stick that in the Git hole in a second, and then hopefully the integration should figure it all out. AC's already done it. There's already channels in there for bug reports and uploading fun screenshots that you have and suggestions. AC's he's on it. I put it at the top of his backlog for the last sprint, and he completed that sprint. I don't know what to say, mate. Right, I'm gonna have a beer and I'll hang around on Discord for a bit and we'll chat and we'll have fun and we'll do it all again Sunday when I don't know what we're gonna do next. Well, no, we need to integrate all the coroutines, so we'll finish that off and then we'll do a thing. I probably need to tackle sound at some point. I'm just putting it off. Yeah, I don't think many people call it that. Maybe that's just a me thing. Anyway, have fun. I'll catch you all anon.